I do think people do a lot of like, it's nice when I get a lot of comments, which I do. I get a lot of comments of people being like, oh, I really like the way you talk about this thing. I like when you explain stuff, whatever. You're knowledgeable about this. But there are a lot of things where I'm talking about them and I'm just talking about them. I'm not like trying to portray myself as an expert about these things. But I think my tone, the way I speak, which is just naturally how I talk, that's it. But I think just my tone makes people see things in a slightly different way, right? Where they'll hear me talk about certain things and be like, wow, she must have studied this, and I'm like, no, I just talk like that. And I'm not talking like that on purpose. Ooh, let me make you think I'm an expert about this thing. I'm just like, yo, I read about this and I think it's interesting and I like to talk about it. I am talking now. That's all, right? So I do get a lot of comments of people saying things like that, and I'm like, that's nice, but you know, I'm always a little wary of it, right? Like just a little bit, where I don't want people to build up an idea in their head that like I'm not trying to portray. Know what I mean? You should change the Times New Roman tone of your voice. I can't. This is just how I talk. That's the problem, right? Change your whole personality. Change how you talk. Right? And I say a lot of shit that doesn't sound Times New Roman. It's just my voice at that point. I say dude a lot. I don't know. Nah, I mean, whatever, man. I say stuff like that constantly, yet people will still take everything I say seriously. So I can't really do anything about it. Even the jokes are in Times New Roman. Yeah, it's my delivery, dude. I always took you as a bold, italicized voice. like death in any Pratchett novel. I feel like I talk like that. That's how I feel like I talk. Fun fact, that's why I always capitalize my name. My father, when he writes in block lettering, which is all caps basically, right? And it's all very square. So he always writes in all caps block characters. And he always would write like that. And he would point it out and he would be like, I feel like you talk like this. Because he talks like that too, a little bit. Well, actually, not as bad, but people take him the same way they take me a little. And he would always write it and he would always tell me that. He'd be like, I feel like you talk like this. And he would like he would write like that. Was block lettering? I'll show you. A lot of older folks do this. It's when you write in a very like grid-like way. Here. I found an example of someone writing a note in block lettering. Okay, like this. Look. You see how this is all caps? And then what they do is a letter that's supposed to be capitalized is just a little bigger. A lot of engineers write like that. Yeah, engineers, construction, architects. Yeah, a lot of them will write like that. This is block lettering, so my dad writes like that. And he always told me that he felt like when I spoke, it should be written out like this.